Discovery Video 76. The smaller track with the bigger payouts. Remington Park. Once again, I got a claiming 7,500. 9 winners of 3 lifetime. That's a conditional claimer. 4-star preferred. I highlighted the surface in purple because this track is sloppy. We got a sloppy track. Free page. View all Discovery videos. Big red arrow. Right side. My listing of value odds and overlay preferred races. In these races, I focus on them because I have a better than average chance on getting a high-priced value odds overlay winner. Frequently, the favorite runs out. The culmination of a decade and a half of research has me focusing on these races now. Using these reports, you have the allowance starter allowance. I'll have ALW, the amount, and little s. It has to have the little s. All other allowance races are not preferred. Has to have the s. Non-graded stakes and grade 3 races. All maiden claiming races, highly rated 4 stars. All maiden special weight races. All races with a condition. Example, 9 winners of 2 lifetime, or some kind of numbers and letters. It'll say CLM, the claiming amount, and then it'll have numbers and letters to the right, like a 9 winners of some kind of condition. It's conditional claimers, 4-star, highly rated. Bottom and low level claiming races. These are your $5,000 to $10,000 claimers at most tracks. Turf, 4 stars. And finally, all races run over a wet track. The race we're looking at here in this video is a sloppy track, conditional claimer. So we have a 4-star double preferred because it qualifies for 2 conditions, being sloppy or wet and a conditional claimer. Can't get much better than that. Now, once I have found the race, I then look at the 2 value odds horses. Well, in this case, 2. I look for the value odds horse. We got number 4, Bobby B. Gold, and number 8, Southern Tiger. Now, most of the time, when you get a value odds horse at 15 to 1 or 20 to 1 morning line, like Southern Tiger is 15 to 1 morning line, 15 to 1 and 20 to 1 morning line is psychologically, the bettors do not even consider horses at those morning line odds. The majority of the bettors, something around the 12 to 1 mark, start, just thinking differently about these horses. But 8 to 1, horses at 8 to 1 or 10 to 1 can be bet down and do get bet down. So I know this before I even know the odds in their post time. Why do I know this? Well, because of all the research I've done, a tremendous amount. So, before the post comes up, or the race, I can look at this the night before and tell you, you're probably going to get a good price in Southern Tiger. Bobby B. Gold, maybe, probably, I don't know. The horse probably is going to get a little action, because it's a sloppy track. He likes a sloppy track, but so does the 8. We got the wet icon. But still, that 15 to 1 morning line factor tells me I probably have going to get a better price on Southern Tiger. Now, all the suspense and drama be gone. Check it out. The 5 was 5-2. The 4, the value odds horse there, bet down to 3-1. And Southern Tigers 25-1. Now see, the betting public made the decision for us. Okay? We're not playing horses. We're betting into overlay situations, which is what I have found to be the most profitable way as a horse player. We're letting the opportunities come to us, as opposed to most of the horse players chasing opportunities. Or actually, they're not even chasing opportunities. They're chasing horses. And I don't know about you, but I don't think I could chase a horse down. I could chase a horse from now until I drop dead, and I'll never catch him. Chasing, no matter if you're betting football or horse racing or any type of wagering, chasing is disaster waiting to happen. And ironically, most horse players base their entire method on chasing. Why? Because they look at a race and they say, who's going to win this race? Okay? Now, if you focus on where are my overlay opportunities and take advantage of those when they come, you have a much better chance on making a long-term profit. Why do I know this? Well, 16 years worth of research and a lot of gray hair later. It's what I have found to be true. But the betting public made the decision for us. And a lot of the times when you got two value odds horses, one will get bet down. Throw that one out. As far as key horse consideration, that horse is gone. Okay? Once they're bet down, get rid of them. The betting public is now offering us 25-1 on Southern Tiger. Next, I like to say, well, what's the story on Southern Tiger? I've checkmarked the wet icon, which simply means the horse has a positive record on a wet track. It could have only raced one time on a wet track and finished in the money. That to me is a positive record. With the wet icon, we don't need to figure out what the wet icon is exactly. Just know that if it's there, it's significant if the track is wet. And I said we have a sloppy track here. So, now your significant icons are wet on a sloppy track, a muddy track, wet, fast, whatever, good. Look for the wet icons. I like those. And the blue W, you only get one per race. That's the best pedigree for a wet track. Those are the icons that I kind of like to see if I'm on an overlay on a wet track. Now, the next thing I like to do is I like to think, why did the betting public not touch this horse? I want to know for research purposes, not because I have any doubt in what I'm doing. I know why. The horse is shipping from Albuquerque, and before that, Fair Meadows, Tulsa. Those two circuits are considered a lower class than Remington. Remington itself is a smaller track, but bigger than an Albuquerque or Fair Meadows. So the horse is coming out of a circuit, a couple of circuits there where it's as though he's making a class hike as far as switching tracks. However, I have seen this occur more and more in recent years, where these horses, that used to never have a chance in hell on shipping from one track to another particular track and have any success, they're doing it. Why is that? Well, I don't know. I mean, there's a mediocrity. Like, I don't know if it's a mediocrity or there's a leveling of the talent. But see, the betting public will base the reputation of the track and the purses of the track. But, you know, maybe more so the reputation. All right, but the animals themselves and everything else involved, the living element, has been, the playing field is being leveled more evenly now. So I personally don't have a problem with a horse coming out of Albuquerque finishing dead last, because look at what we're doing here. We're switching tracks, which I love a horse switching tracks or switching surfaces if he's my horse. If he's a 25-to-1 value odds horse, I like to see something different. Now, what do we have? We have a different surface. We have a sloppy track and a different track. A different track and it's sloppy. What does that mean? That means there's a possibility of a total reversal of form. That's what it means. Okay. So I've established some good things to like about my 25-to-1 shot. I've also established why the betting public is not betting the horse. Previous to that, I established I got a 4-star double preferred race. I'm in. This is the one. Southern Tiger. Oh, by the way, if you cannot look at the odds in their post time, you should use a conditional wagering option. I use Twin Spires for when I need to make an advanced bet and I cannot, you know, one of my grandchildren is visiting and I'm going out to dinner with them and they drag me out kicking and screaming. I may not be able to be there to watch the race at post time. I use Twin Spires conditional wagering. It allows me to set a minimum odds requirement. I have 0 minutes to post. Usually 10-to-1 minimum or 12-to-1 minimum. So if my horse is at least 10 or 12-to-1, whatever I set it at 0 minutes to post, my bet is placed. If the horse gets bet down, my bet on that horse is not placed. So, in a situation where you have 2 value odds horses, you're obviously, if you're 4-star double preferred race, you're not going to know in advance if the 4 is going to be bet down. But remember, I told you, there's a better chance the 4 is going to be bet down because he's 8-to-1 morning line. And there's a better chance the Southern Tiger's not going to be bet because he's 15-to-1 morning line. Now that holds true very often, but nothing is 100%. So you would play your value odds horses. You'd play both of them separately, and on the conditional wagering, your bet on the 4 gets dropped because you're saying I want 10-to-1 or 12-to-1 minimum. Obviously, the horse is 3-to-1 near post, so that bet's not placed. But your bet on Southern Tiger at 25-to-1 is placed. So that's the twinspires.com. They are not an advertiser with us. We don't have advertising. I'm not an affiliate with them. I just use their product, and I believe it's a good product. So, but there's other companies that offer conditional wagering. So, if Twin Spires is not available where you live, there are other companies out there that offer conditional wagering. More and more these days are offering that. Okay, now let's get down to brass tacks here. I don't know where that saying came from. Doesn't even make sense. Before my time. First bet. Always, always, always get the win bet down before anything else. Sometimes the win bet is the only bet. Regardless of the player's bankroll, I know players with unlimited bankrolls that still only bet to win. I myself go through periods where I only bet to win, or I stick very limited because I just feel like keeping it as simple as possible. It's a very conservative approach that works if your method is focusing on overlays in these preferred races, especially 4-star and double preferred. For the videos, I go $10 to win. Now, on number 8, obviously. The next bet in line would be the exacta. I wheel the exacta. 8 all exacta. If there was a double, I would wheel that too. Now, trifecta. If we have bankroll for that, here's how we play it. 8 on top, Southern Tiger, in the first position of the trifecta, all by himself. Second position of the trifecta, we put the 5, 4, 2, 7. That represents the rest of the horses in Group A and the top horse in Group B. And then all for third, 10-cent supers, all for fourth. Now what's left? The pick 3. And I want to show you how I set up the pick 3 here in the sequence of races 3, 4, and 5. Race 3, a preferred race, but technically double preferred because it's sloppy. But a preferred race, being a maiden special, is not quite as strong as a 4-star preferred. However, I would normally just bet Group A horses in this part. The value odds horse did win anyway. Okay. So I would play Group A there. Then I would find, and then the last race of the pick 3 is not a preferred race at all, except for it being a wet track. So it's also a weaker element of the 3 races in the pick 3, the weakest. So Group A here. Now the strongest race for what I'm looking for is the 4th race, the middle leg of this pick 3, because it's 4-star double preferred. Okay. So this is my single. Now you say, well, if you play the pick 3 in races 3, 4, and 5, how are you going to know about the 4 horse? Well, then play them both. If you're not gutsy enough to throw out an 8-to-1 shot, that might go off at good odds. The 15-to-1 more times than not is going to go off at much higher odds than the 8-to-1 morning line because of the psychology of the betting public, like I explained to you in the beginning. But play it conservative. Instead of keying just the 8, key the 4 and the 8. I mean, there's not much of a difference. If you're playing $16, play $32 on your pick 3, on your dollar pick 3. I mean, if you've got the money to play it and you want to be conservative, you don't, or I'm telling you, if you stick with these horses at 15-to-1 and 20-to-1, you will notice that they go off at high odds most of the time. Very, very seldom do those horses at 15-to-1 and 20-to-1 morning line get bet down. But these 8-to-1 shots do. Often. So you key in their single here, or in this case, maybe you're going to key the double with the Group A horses. Okay? We want to be on a long shot single that has a good chance to win. Why do I think this horse has got a good chance to win? Because it's switching tracks. It's going to a sloppy surface in which he has already proven he has a positive record on. That to me is what you call that is the wake-up call. That is the reversal of form doctor on the phone in telling you that Southern Tiger is going to revert his form. Nicely. $25.5, 53. Win Mutual. 283.60 on the exacta for the 5-2 favorite running second. That is a nice exacta. That's why I like Remington. The exotics pay well. Everything pays well. We did catch the trifecta with my strategy. I play for $1, so 611 there. You're getting 10 cents chunk on that. But the big return was the pick 3. Using my strategy, singling the biggest odds horse in the strongest race of the pick 3 sequence. I suggest you watch this video more than once because you may need to hear me say it more than one time on how I came about to single. What race am I focusing on as the strongest race? Total return on this one value odds horse with the strategies that we use, $4,749.86. Remington Park, and not too long ago we had a big one at Remington. Right here. 18,000 hit. Remington Park, smaller track, bigger prices. Quickly look at one other race, Woodbine from the same day. Maiden Claimer, so that's a 4-star preferred race. I got one value odds horse. Switching from the turf, not a bad effort either on the turf. But I love the switching of the surfaces. If you notice, he was racing on the all-weather. The trainer put him on the turf, and now back to the all-weather. The turf race was a conditioning race. Why do I know that? Well, take a look at the days since that race. Only 8. When you see that, when a horse raced 8 days ago, and that was a turf race, and he's back on the dirt or the all-weather, the trainer was running the horse in that turf race for conditioning purposes. So the likelihood that this horse moves forward is very good. And Surge Power went off at almost 14-1. 29.70 there. And all of our exotics hit there as well. Okay. Now the last thing I'm going to talk about is bankroll management. You have a 3-pronged approach. You have your good solid handicapping, which you need to learn how to read the reports. All you have to do is interpret these reports. That's your good solid handicapping. Then you use the proven wagering strategies. That took me 16 years to hone down and zero in on. The third element is the bankroll management. The third element of long-term profit as a horse player, or whether you're a weekend warrior, it doesn't matter. If you play the horses, you're a horse player. If you're just a weekend warrior, you're no less of a horse player than the guy that plays every day. Okay? Or the lady. Anyway, if your goal is long-term profit. Third element is bankroll management. You have to set aside a horse racing bankroll, X amount of dollars, that you use only for it's only designated only for horse racing. Could be $100. Whatever it is, designated X amount of dollars. Of that bankroll, play a maximum of 1% to 2% for every race that you bet. And hopefully you are concentrating on these double preferred, 4-star preferred, preferred races in general. Now, if you max 1% to 2% per race, the odds on you tapping out your bankroll are almost zero. It'd be almost impossible to tap the bank out, bust the bank, whatever you want to call it. Now, that may mean $2 win bets for right now. But I can tell you, I lost count on how many members started with a very, very small bankroll and have followed my methodology as a complete puzzle with the 3 pieces and have built that bankroll slowly. Your bankroll should build steadily, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly, but it should over time steadily build. Now, the way that is done is that we let these opportunities, we wait for them to come to us. We do not chase them down. If you're chasing, you're losing. Think of that if you want to remember. Chasing is looking at a race saying, who's going to win this race? Which is probably 95% of every horse player that plays a race. That's chasing. In plain English terms, who's going to win this race? I'm now chasing. I'm chasing what? I'm chasing to see who's going to win the race. Now, if you're waiting for overlay betting opportunities in certain situations, you now have taken control of the game instead of the game controlling you. See, there's a lot of psychology used in being a successful horse player. It's not that difficult. It's really common sense. But it's hard for the horse player to break old habits. I understand that. But just to understand also that what I'm showing you and the method around it has so much research and testing behind it that there's absolutely no doubt there's anything that could even come close. All right? So don't chase. Hey, well, if you're chasing and you're winning, then okay, then it's working for you. Maybe it's working for you. But if you're chasing and you're not winning, if you're chasing and your bankroll's not growing, if it's broken, you might want to think about fixing it. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Why fix what's not broken? But if it's broken, you should open your mind and consider, open the engine. Think of your mind as the engine of a car. When it's broken, you open it up. Think about that. You open the hood and look inside the engine, and you take your tools and you work on that engine till it's fixed, or you pay a guy to fix it. But in any case, the engine is open, the car is opened up, and the engine has to be fixed. So you're doing the same thing with your brain. You're opening up your brain. Open your mind. If it needs to be fixed, if something needs to be fixed, meaning you're not making a long-term profit, then you need to open your mind and be more receptive to different ideas, okay? If what you're doing is not working, I leave that up to you, because you're an adult, you're grown, and it's a free country. I simply lead the horse to water. I also teach a man how to fish, or a lady. Instead of throwing you a fish, and then you get hungry again, you got to come find me and hunt me down. I need another fish, John. Why don't I just teach you how to fish, and then you could feed yourself for life. That's basically what these videos are for. And you got 76 videos on the Discovery series, and on the free page, if you scroll down, look for the laptop computer, there's 424 more videos on this page. A great resource for you. Let's see, 424 and 76. We are now officially at 500 videos combined in the two series. 500 videos showing you exactly what to do, how to do it, when to do it, why to do it, where to do it, who to do it to. And this whole page, wealth of information. Your 36 proven winning overlay angles. Everything on this page is a wealth of library information, study materials for you. And I'm at 31 minutes, so I better kick off. Thank you for viewing. Good luck.